Life has a way of knocking the breath out of you. It will come at you when you least expect it, and sometimes it will come in waves that feel like they will drown you. You may face rejection, loss, betrayal, or disappointment so deep that you begin to question your own worth. But I want you to understand this. Every knock is not designed to destroy you. It's a setup for a comeback. The punches life throws at you are not there to end your journey. They are there to strengthen your resolve and remind you of the greatness that lives within you. When you get knocked down, it doesn't mean you are finished. It means you've been given an opportunity to rise in a way that will inspire not only you, but everyone who watches your story unfold. Think about a fighter in the ring. The crowd cheers when the fighter lands a hit, but the true moment of power comes when the fighter gets knocked down. The referee starts counting, and everyone is waiting to see if they will rise again. That's the defining moment. Not the punch, not the fall, but the decision to stand up when your body is aching and your vision is blurry. Life is your ring, and you will be knocked down more than once. But if you choose to rise, if you decide that your story isn't over yet, that's when your comeback begins. Setbacks are not permanent places to live. They are temporary pauses that redirect you, that give you perspective, and that prepare you for the next chapter. You see, the seed of every great comeback is planted in the soil of struggle. When you are down, when you feel broken, that's when the soil of your life is being prepared for growth. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel fair, but it is necessary, because the comeback will never mean as much without the setback. You cannot inspire others by living a life free of pain, but you can inspire millions by showing them what it looks like to keep fighting when the world says you should quit. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything is going right. It's easy to stand tall when the crowd is cheering for you. But real belief, true resilience, is forged in the moments when no one believes, when the lights are dim, when all you hear is the echo of doubt inside your own mind. That is where greatness is born. Every knock, every failure, every heartbreak is a test to see how strong your spirit really is. You are not defined by the blows you take. You are defined by the way you rise after them. When life knocks you down, it may strip away your pride, your comfort, even some of your confidence, but it cannot strip away your will unless you hand it over. And you cannot afford to give it up. There is too much at stake. Your dreams are waiting, your future is calling, your family is watching. Someone out there is depending on you to fight back, to show them that it's possible. When you rise, you give permission to others to rise as well. When you fight for your comeback, you light a path for those still stuck in their knockdown. The beauty of a comeback is that it always silences the doubters. Those who counted you out, those who thought you would never rise again, will have no choice but to witness your strength. But don't fight for their approval. Fight for your destiny. Don't rise just to prove them wrong. Rise because you were never meant to stay down. You were born with resilience in your DNA. You were designed to withstand storms, and you were equipped with everything you need to turn setbacks into setups. So the next time life hits you so hard you fall to your knees, don't waste energy asking, why me? Instead, whisper to yourself, watch me. Watch me rise, watch me fight. Watch me turn this pain into power. Every knock is a setup for a comeback, and every time you choose to stand, you are writing the most powerful part of your story. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers. though it rarely feels that way when you're going through it. In the middle of heartbreak, failure, or disappointment, it feels like the world is caving in. It feels like nothing will ever be the same again. The weight of rejection, the sting of betrayal, the burden of loss can break you down to your knees and make you wonder if you will ever stand tall again. But I want you to hear this truth: pain is temporary, but strength is forever. The very struggles that feel like they are crushing you today are shaping the foundation of a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of you tomorrow. Think about the gym. No muscle grows without resistance. No body gets stronger without strain. The very act of lifting a weight is tearing down muscle fibers so they can rebuild even stronger than before. Life works the same way. Every painful experience tears at the fabric of who you are, but it also gives you the chance to rebuild yourself with a deeper resolve and a more unshakable spirit. The pain is temporary. The lessons you take from it, the growth you gain, the strength you build, those are yours to keep for a lifetime. When you're in the middle of pain, it feels endless. It feels like the hurt will never end, like the darkness will never lift. But time and resilience have a way of healing wounds you thought would scar forever. The heartbreak that once kept you awake at night eventually becomes a story you tell to inspire someone else. The failure that made you feel worthless becomes the very thing that taught you persistence. The rejection that cut you to your core becomes the redirection that puts you on the right path. Pain fades, but the strength you earned in the process becomes a permanent part of who you are. We live in a world where many people run from pain. They seek comfort, they hide from struggle, they avoid challenges because they don't want to feel the sting of failure. But what they don't realize is that avoiding pain also means avoiding growth. The people who achieve greatness, the ones who rise above mediocrity, are not the ones who never feel pain. They are the ones who embrace it, endure it, and allow it to shape them. They understand that every storm eventually passes, and when it does, the person who walked through it will never be the same. Pain has a way of introducing you to yourself. When you're stripped of comfort, when you're pushed to your breaking point, you discover what you're truly made of. You realize that you can survive more than you thought. You find out that you have reservoirs of strength you never tapped into before. And that discovery, that realization, is priceless. Because once you know you can survive the worst life can throw at you, you also know you can handle whatever comes next. Remember the times in your past when you thought you wouldn't make it through. Remember the nights you cried, the mornings you doubted, the moments you almost gave up. Yet here you are. You survived. And because you survived those moments, you are stronger today. That strength will never leave you. It is forever etched into your spirit, a reminder that you can overcome. The next time life knocks you down, you can look back and say, I've been here before. I know this pain won't last. I know I'll rise again. Every painful chapter in your life is not just about you. It's also equipping you to help someone else. One day, someone will come to you broken, hopeless, and defeated. And you will be able to look them in the eye and say, I know how that feels. I've been where you are, but I also know you can survive it. Your strength becomes their hope. Your story becomes their roadmap. That is the beauty of enduring pain. You not only gain strength for yourself, you become a source of strength for others. So don't curse the pain. Don't run from it. Don't let it define you as a victim. Embrace it as part of your journey because it is shaping a stronger, braver, more resilient you. Pain is temporary, but the strength you build because of it will carry you for the rest of your life. When life knocks you down, it's easy to stay there. The ground can feel like a place of safety because it doesn't demand anything from you. When you've lost something, when you've failed, when you've been hurt, there's a temptation to unpack, to settle in that place of defeat, to tell yourself that maybe this is just where you belong. But you were never meant to stay down. Refuse to settle in that pit of discouragement because your future is calling you forward. Your vision, your dreams, your destiny, they're still waiting for you, but they cannot meet you in the place where you've given up. They are up there on higher ground, and the only way you will ever reach them is if you decide that staying down is not an option. Life doesn't pause when you're broken. The world doesn't stop spinning because you're hurt. Time keeps moving, and so must you. The question isn't whether you've been knocked down. The question is whether you will rise again. Everyone gets knocked down. Everyone faces moments where their strength is tested, where their hope feels thin. What separates those who succeed from those who never fulfill their potential is the decision to get back up. That decision is not made once. It's made every single day. Every morning you wake up with doubt in your mind. Every moment you feel the weight of failure, you have to choose again to stand, to fight, to refuse defeat. Your dreams are not canceled because of a setback. A fall doesn't erase your vision. The future you imagine for yourself is still possible, but you must move toward it. The problem is that many people give up too soon. They get knocked down and assume it's a sign that their dream wasn't meant to be. They confuse a delay with a denial. Just because the path is harder than you thought doesn't mean it's impossible. Just because it didn't work out the first time doesn't mean it will never work out. Refusing to stay down means believing that your future is bigger than your failure. When you rise after a fall, you send a message to life itself. You cannot break me. That message echoes in your actions, in your resilience, in your determination to keep going. It's not about pretending you're not hurt. It's about not letting the hurt keep you from moving forward. Yes, you'll cry. Yes, you'll feel the pain. Yes, you'll wonder why things happened the way they did. But in the middle of that, you keep pushing. You keep crawling if you have to, because your destiny will not come to meet you on the floor. You have to rise and go get it. Refusing to stay down is not just for you. There are people watching you. There are people who need your story, your example, your courage. Somewhere, someone is struggling with the same challenges you faced, and they need proof it's possible to get back up again. If you stay down, you rob them of that hope. But when you rise, you show them that the human spirit is unbreakable. You show them that setbacks are not the end, but the beginning of a comeback. You have to decide that nothing will keep you down permanently. Not failure, not heartbreak, not rejection, not disappointment. Every time life knocks you down, you must rise with a new determination. Because each rise makes you stronger. Each comeback builds resilience. Each refusal to stay down takes you one step closer to the person you were always meant to become. Your future doesn't belong in the ashes of yesterday. It belongs in the fire of your determination. The fight in your spirit and the belief that no matter what happens, you will not give up. So when life hits you, when it pushes you to the ground and dares you to stay there, don't accept it. Don't settle in defeat. Look at the vision in your heart. Look at the dream that keeps calling your name, and rise. Refuse to stay down because your future is still waiting and it demands that you fight for it. When life knocks you down, the natural instinct is to ask why. Why me? Why now? Why this pain, this setback, this disappointment? But the truth is, the why doesn't serve you as much as the what. What will you do with this struggle? What will you make of this pain? What will you create out of this moment? Because struggle is not just something to endure, it's fuel. If you choose to see it differently, the very thing that was meant to break, you can become the fire that pushes you to rise higher than ever before. Think about how a fire is started. It needs friction, it needs heat, it needs resistance. Without struggle, there's no spark. And in your life, the very moments that seem to hold you back are often the ones that light the fire within you. The critics who told you you're not enough, the failures that left you empty, the losses that made you question everything, those are not signs that you should stop. They are fuel waiting for you to strike the match of determination and burn brighter than the doubts that surround you. When you feel the weight of struggle, you can either let it bury you or let it propel you. It can become a reason to quit or a reason to push harder. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who take their struggle and transform it into fuel. They learn to feed on the very thing that tried to destroy them. They channel pain into persistence, disappointment into discipline, rejection into redirection. Struggle, when embraced, becomes an unstoppable energy that no obstacle can hold back. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born out of the darkest struggles. People who had every reason to give up instead chose to use their suffering as a stepping stone. They let the fight toughen them, sharpen them, and build a fire so strong inside them that no storm on the outside could put it out. You have that same choice. You can let life's hits convince you that you're finished, or you can let them remind you that you're just getting started. Every time life tests you, it's handing you fuel. It's asking you, what will you do with this? The critics, the doubters, the ones who laugh at your dreams, they don't get to decide your future, but they do give you fuel. You can't, can become the reason you say, watch me. Every time you're underestimated, you're handed a gift, because nothing is more powerful than someone who is fueled by doubt and determined to prove it wrong. Your enemies may think they've weakened you, but in reality, they've given you firepower. They've put logs on the fire that will drive you to keep swinging when you're tired, to keep climbing when the mountain feels endless, to keep running when your legs are shaking. But using struggle as fuel is not just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about showing yourself that you are stronger than you thought, that you can carry more than you imagined, that you can endure storms and still chase the horizon. It's about turning inward and finding that spark that refuses to die, no matter how dark it gets. When you use struggle as fuel, you stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. You realize that the weight you're carrying is building the muscle you'll need for the future you desire. So the next time life knocks you flat, don't see it as the end of the story. See it as the beginning of your fire. Use the struggle as motivation to push harder, to climb higher, to dig deeper. Don't let the pain silence you. Let it speak through your actions. Don't let the struggle drain you. Let it drive you. Don't let the critics bury you. Let them build your platform. Because when you rise from struggle with a fire inside you, you become unstoppable. The same pain that could have broken you becomes the very power that fuels your comeback. When you're fighting to rise after life has knocked you down, one of the most important choices you'll ever make is who you allow into your corner. You cannot afford to surround yourself with people who drain you, discourage you, or convince you to settle where you are. The company you keep will either pull you up or pull you under. When you're at your lowest, you need voices that remind you of your strength, people who refuse to let you quit, and companions who believe in your fight as much as you do. Surround yourself with fighters, not quitters, because the energy around you will shape the energy within you. Every great fighter has a team. No champion rises alone. Behind every victory, there are trainers, encouragers, and voices shouting from the sidelines, "Get up! You can do this!" In life, it's the same way. When you're down, you need people who will not only see your potential, but push you to reach it. You need people who won't just pat you on the back when you're hurting, but will also challenge you to stand, to keep moving, to refuse to stay down. Quitters will tell you to give up, that it's too hard, that maybe this dream isn't for you. Fighters will tell you, rest if you must, but don't quit. You've got more inside of you. Get back in the game. The voices you allow in your life become the soundtrack of your spirit. If you're surrounded by negativity, by people who constantly doubt, by friends who settle for less, it won't be long before you find yourself doing the same. But when you choose to walk with people who fight, who dream, who push through pain, you begin to rise with them. Their strength becomes your strength. Their determination feeds your own. They remind you that you are not alone in the battle, and that reminder can be the very thing that keeps you moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. Think about the times when you almost gave up. Chances are there was someone who spoke life into you, someone who reminded you of who you are and what you're capable of. Maybe it was a mentor, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger who believed in you more than you believed in yourself at that moment. That's the power of surrounding yourself with fighters. They see beyond your present pain. They call out the greatness within you when you've forgotten it's there. They push you to keep swinging, even when your arms are tired. But it's not just about receiving strength. It's also about giving it. Being surrounded by fighters means you must also become one. You have to be willing to encourage, to uplift, to challenge the people around you as well. When you pour strength into others, you find that your own strength multiplies. It creates a cycle of resilience where everyone is feeding each other's determination and no one is left behind. That's the environment where comebacks are born, not in isolation, but in community. You cannot climb a mountain while holding hands with people who want to stay in the valley. If you want to rise, you must be willing to let go of those who are committed to quitting. It doesn't mean you stop caring about them, but it does mean you stop allowing their mindset to shape your own. Your destiny is too important to risk it by staying in circles that don't believe in fighting for more. Seek out people who sharpen you, who challenge your excuses, who call you out when you're playing small. Those are the people who will make sure you rise every time you fall. Life is already hard enough. The punches will come, the setbacks will happen, the pain will visit. Don't make the fight harder by carrying the weight of quitters on your back. Surround yourself with people who know what it means to take a hit and keep moving, who understand that setbacks are setups, who are committed to victory no matter how long it takes. When you're in the presence of fighters, you become a fighter. And when you have fighters in your corner, you'll never face defeat alone. Victory doesn't always belong to the fastest, the strongest, or the most talented. It belongs to the one who refuses to quit. Life has a way of testing everyone, no matter how smart you are, no matter how much potential you carry, no matter how prepared you think you might be. At some point, you will be knocked down. At some point, you will face challenges that make you question whether you have what it takes. But the truth is, greatness is not about avoiding the fall. It's about refusing to stay down when you do. Victory comes to the person who keeps moving forward, long after others have thrown in the towel. Think about the many people who started the race of life full of energy and excitement. They had talent, they had ambition, they had big dreams. But somewhere along the way, life hit them and they quit. They let rejection break them. They let failure convince them they weren't good enough. They let criticism silence their voice. It wasn't their lack of ability that stopped them. It was their decision to give up. On the other hand, history is filled with stories of ordinary people who kept pressing on even when they didn't feel ready, even when they didn't have the resources, even when they were told it couldn't be done. They won not because they were extraordinary, but because they refused to quit. Life doesn't reward giving up. It doesn't hand victory to the person who almost made it. It rewards persistence. It rewards those who show up again and again, no matter how many times they're knocked down. Every time you refuse to quit, you are building endurance. Every time you decide to try again, you are teaching life that you cannot be broken. And sooner or later, persistence pays off. The world cannot deny someone who refuses to be denied. Refusing to quit doesn't mean the journey won't hurt. It doesn't mean you won't have nights filled with doubt, days filled with struggle, and moments where everything inside you screams to give up. It means you make a conscious choice in those moments to keep moving anyway. You learn to rest, but not quit. You learn to cry, but still fight. You learn to stumble, but still move forward. Because victory doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. When you decide you will never quit, you strip defeat of its power. Defeat only exists when you stop trying. As long as you keep showing up, as long as you keep swinging, as long as you keep moving toward the vision in your heart, you are still in the fight. And if you stay in the fight long enough, victory becomes inevitable. The world has no defense against relentless persistence. Many people are waiting for perfect conditions before they commit fully. They think they'll push harder once the timing is right, once they feel stronger, once they have more support. But the truth is, perfect conditions never come. Victory doesn't belong to the person who waits. It belongs to the person who keeps moving forward in the middle of imperfection. The one who fights with trembling hands, who takes steps with shaky legs, who keeps showing up even when no one else is watching. That's the one who eventually claims victory. Every person who has achieved something great has one thing in common. They didn't quit. They had moments of weakness. They had seasons of failure, but they never gave up completely. They chose to believe that persistence would outlast pain, that consistency would overcome resistance, and that their determination would eventually carve a path, where none seem to exist. That same truth applies to you. You may not feel the strongest, the smartest, or the fastest, but you can decide today that you will not quit. And that decision alone is more powerful than talent, more powerful than opportunity, more powerful than luck. So when life knocks you down, when you feel exhausted, when it seems like the fight is endless, remind yourself that victory is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. As long as you're still standing, as long as you're still trying, you're still in the game. And if you refuse to quit, sooner or later, the game will belong to you. Because in the end, victory always finds its way to the one who refuses to quit.